and that's Ward, and David is going to read his letter and might give some thoughts as well.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming here today. I know Willis would certainly be just so thrilled, honored and proud to see all these faces, and you know, just so many good memories. You know, our family together with the Folsoms and the Prices and the Petersons over the years, and it's just you know, warms my heart thinking about that. It certainly an honor to be here to be able to read this from Ward, and it's got a neat kind of a theme to it, and I'll add a few comments afterwards. So Ward is Willis's youngest brother, okay? And he writes, 70 years later, my older brother Willis was 16 years older than I, but even with the age difference, we were very close from the very beginning. In 1942 or 43, Willis was in the Army Air Corps, as the Air Force was then called. He actually was in the Aleutian Islands, though we didn't know that for sure. Shortly before Christmas, Willis sent me, his youngest brother, at the age of only 9, a crisp $5 bill. Imagine that, $5 in 1942 or 43. That would be like a $50 bill now. We had a big family. Our dad made practically nothing at the church where he served. We never went hungry, but we sure ate a lot of beans. Truly. Fortunately, he also brought home a lot of fresh stuff from the farms out in the country where he held services. But back to that $5 bill. Since we were so-called cash poor, we never had a turkey for Thanksgiving or Christmas. So I offered that $5 bill to the family if we could have a turkey. Big mistake. I couldn't imagine that they would actually accept my offer. My $5. But they did. And of course we enjoyed the turkey immensely. But I learned to be more careful what I wish for. Ward Folsom, age 79. So yeah, Willis, I mean, that was interesting as I was reading this, thinking about that generosity factor. You know, he just, no matter what it was, if it was a possession or if it was his talents or if it was some kind of counseling, something that he could share with others, like his music. I mean, that was just amazing. It was so many times that, you know, we'd pop over, you know, being very close friends with the family, and, you know, all the Carlson boys hanging with the Price boys and listening to our music, right, the rock and roll, which I'm sure at times Willis would be, but he would never come up and say, hey, can you guys turn that down? It was just, he knew that we were getting that appreciation out of that music, and that was fine. That was fine by him. You know, but you know, now that I look back at it, I think I have a much more appreciative point from that, you know, and how acceptant he was. Again, everybody, the way that he drew that out of people. And I think that, you know, the other thing that I was just amazed at was just that passion for what he did. You know, all the things that he did, he was going to put his best efforts into it. I don't care what it was, you know. If it was sweeping out a garage, Willis is going to put passion into it. We kind of laughed about that, you know, because when we were boys and we'd see Willis doing something, whether it was trimming a tree or something small, he'd be, you know, just working away and sweating, and he'd be combing his hair, and we joked about that. The way Willis even combed his hair, that was like an exercise. You know? it was one of those things. He was just that type of a passionate person that brought that out in you, because he was that way. So, and also just inquiring, you know, what's new in your life? You know, how do you feel about this? Or did you read about this? And you know, I remember me even asking my daughter, and this wasn't that long ago. This is probably, I don't know, 3 to 5 years ago, and we were over at the house, and Roxanne hadn't seen Willis for some time and didn't know him really even that well. But Willis just wanted to make sure that he spent that time with her and asked her So, Roxanne, what do you think about what's going on in the world today? What are you going to do to make your mark on the world? And Roxanne was just kind of flabbergasted, like, wow, how do I respond to that? But it was cool just from the fact, like, you saw him taking her aside or just taking that extra effort to spend that time and find out, you know, what's new in your life. And I don't know enough about you, and I'd really like to know more about you. What can you tell me? So that was Willis. That was definitely Willis. So again, thanks for the opportunity to read this note and to just kind of comment on that. I appreciate that.